Hello everyone, I'm Rebecca. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to share with you another recipe. I'm making Liberian jollof rice. So guys, if you would like to know how I make this beautiful and tasty recipe, I will encourage you to please keep watching. And also please don't forget to subscribe to support your girl. Thank you so much. Let's get started, guys. The first step is to cook the meat. This will allow me to extract the stock from the meat when it's done to cook with the jollof rice later. So that's why I'm starting with the meat. I added 2 cups of water. I allow it to boil, and also I added some beef that I've washed and cut in a preferred size. For seasoning, I'm using a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of black pepper, and a teaspoon of minced garlic. I will give that a good stir, cover the pot, and allow the meat to cook until it's soft, or for 20 to 21 minutes. While the meat is cooking, to multitask, I will be working on the vegetables I will be using to cook to this recipe. For vegetables, I have 3 habaneros, 6 fresh tomatoes, 3 whole red bell pepper, and 1 whole onion. I'm just going to blend everything up and set it aside. For the bell pepper, I will blend it and also drain the water out so that I can be able to control the amount of water that I'm cooking the jollof rice with, and also not to cook the vegetables for too long. That's why I'm extracting the water from the bell pepper, because if you have noticed, bell pepper has a lot of water, especially after blending them. Okay, I'm just going to pull the blended bell pepper, as you can see, and look at the amount of water, guys, that came out of the 3 red bell peppers. And when you're cooking your jollof rice, you want to use red bell pepper, because what happens, it gives your jollof rice great color. I'm working on the fresh tomato now. I split it into half and I'm squeezing the liquid out, because this reduces the sour taste and also the amount of fluid in the tomato. When you are cooking a lot of tomatoes, please give this a try if you won't mind. It reduces, like I said earlier, it reduces the sourness and also the amount of liquid. So I will just blend that and add it to the blended bell peppers. I will leave the ingredients and the amount in the description box, so if you won't mind, you can check that out. I don't know what you guys have been up to, but I've been so busy these few days, really busy, but at least I was able to be back here to upload a new content. So what I added to the blender is 3 habanero, and I'm also adding 1 whole onion. I'll cut that in a size that can fit in the blender. Blend it up and add it to the blended tomatoes and bell peppers that I blended earlier. If you are not too comfortable with too much spice, I will encourage you to amend this, or you can also reduce it to 1 or 2. Okay, just mixing that up and set it aside. So after blending this, I check on the meat. The meat is good. I'll just turn the stove off and set it aside. We have our stock now. So for rice, I have parboiled rice, 8 cups. I use that cup, the plastic cup you see there. And I also have some spices here that I'll be using. I'm using 2 whole onions for this entire recipe. I use 1 onion to blend in the vegetables, and I also use half for the tomato that I'll be frying, and also half for the meat that I'll be showing you how to cook later. I'm adding a cup of vegetable oil, and I'll follow that with the half diced onion, and I'm giving that a good stir and allow it to cook for 1 to 2 minutes. After the 1 to 2 minutes, I'm adding 1 canned tomato. I will allow this to fry for about 5 to 10 minutes. After frying, I will follow that with the blended vegetables. Here we are. It's pretty good. I'm just adding now the blended vegetables that I talked to you about. As you can see, it's not too liquidy because I drain some of that liquid out, guys. Like when you're cooking your chalk rice, you want to follow this method like that. You won't overcook your vegetables. I'm cooking the jollof a little bit different today, but it came out amazing. So what I added a teaspoon, half a teaspoon of thyme, rosemary, and also 3 bay leaf, and I allowed that to cook for about 5 minutes. After the 5 minutes, I'm just giving it a little bit of stir, and I'll follow that with the rice. And for the rice, I washed it 3 to 4 different times until the water was clear. You know, this reduces the starch in your rice. For seasoning, I added some black pepper, some paprika, and also some cooking cubes, and also some knorr seasoning. I will leave the amount of seasoning in the description box. Check that out. I also added 2 cups of fluid. I got the fluid from the meat that I cooked earlier, and also from the bell pepper. So the fluid I took from the bell pepper, I didn't trash it, I just saved it. So I started with 2 cups of water. Later I will add a cup, so I will just cover that and let it to cook. After 10 minutes, here we are. We are not there yet, but we are getting there little by little. I'm just stirring it. So after tasting, I'm adding a little bit of salt and also 1 cup of water to sum it up to 3 cups of water. So the 8 cups of rice, I cook it with 3 cups of water. I'm stirring that up very good, making sure that everything is well incorporated, and I'm following that with some foil paper to make sure all the heat is trapped in there to cook our rice evenly. While the rice is cooking, I'll be working on some beef and shrimp that I'll be adding to the rice in few minutes. So I added a 1/4 cup of vegetable oil, and I'm adding the shrimp right now, and I will cook the shrimp for 2 minutes on each side, and after the about 4 minutes, I will just remove it from the oil, and I will add the beef right away. Okay, so for the beef, I'm just frying the beef in the oil for 1 to 2 minutes because I don't want the beef to be too dry. So yeah, it's pretty good now. I'm just removing the beef, and I'll follow that with half onion that I just dashed, and I'll be frying the onion for about 1 to 2 minutes as well. So what I'm doing right now, I'm just preparing the meat for the jollof rice because I didn't cook the meat in the sauce. So I added 2 habanero that I dashed up with the knife, and 1 whole tomato that I cut up too. So I'll just allow this to cook for 5 minutes. After the 5 minutes, I'm adding the meat, and after adding the meat, the beef and the shrimp, I will just add some knorr seasoning, black peppers, habanero, and a cooking cube. I will leave the seasoning, the amount of seasoning that I use in this recipe in the description box. I think I said that earlier. So I'm just giving that a good stir, and after stirring it very well, I will cover it up and allow this to cook for about 10 minutes on low heat. Here we are. The beef and the shrimp is pretty good. It's well tender and it's so juicy, and it's really tasty as well. So I will just cover this and set it aside. We'll be adding it to the jollof rice in a few minutes. I'm looking at the jollof rice now. It's been cooking for close to 15 going to 20 minutes, and it's like mostly done, but it just need a few more minutes to be completely cooked. Right now I'm just adding the meat and the shrimp that I cooked earlier to the jollof rice, and I'm going to stir that up really good, making sure that the meat and the shrimp, they are well mixed up together. So you would be wondering why you couldn't just cook the meat and the shrimp in the gravy. The reason why I didn't follow that route today, because I needed the rice to cook in the sauce evenly, and I never wanted the meat to be in the way, in the sauce. That's one of the reasons why I cook it outside of the sauce separately. And also what this does is that it adds more flavor, and it adds more flavor to the jollof rice, and the meat is left tender and so tasty. So we encourage you to give this a try. It came out really amazing. And also you might be wondering, where is the mixed vegetable? If you would like mixed vegetable in your rice, you can add it at this time, because I'll be cooking the rice for 10 more minutes. Then that 10 minutes your mixed vegetable will cook well. But my kids do not appreciate jollof rice, mixed vegetable in the rice. That's why I skip the vegetables today, because it usually just pick it out of the rest. So to avoid that, that's why I didn't add mixed vegetable. So after the 10 minutes, I added about 2 tablespoons of butter to the rice. I'm just giving that a good stir, and that will be the end of the cooking process. What I took off not long ago was the bay leaves that I added to the rice. What I noticed is that the butter adds more flavor and make the rice more juicier, so that's why I added the butter. But this is optional, but I will encourage you to give it a try by adding some butter. So this is the finished product. The rice is so tasty and it looks beautiful. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time spent. If you won't mind, please subscribe, please like, share, and comment. And also I will leave by saying Jesus wants us to repent because he's coming very soon. God bless you.